In this summary of the Club Random podcast, host Bill Maher featured a candid chat with special guest Sharon Osbourne. The dialogue meandered through numerous themes infused with Maher's comedic cynicism and Osbourne's frank personal experiences. The conversation began as Osbourne and Maher compared experiences of celebrity and fame, reflecting on the paradox of gifts and favors bestowed upon those who are already successful. Maher showed his humble origins with his recollection of his lonely early days as a student at Cornell. A sense of nostalgia was paired with his critique of the current climate within elite American institutions, which they both termed as dangerous due to the radical ideas increasingly propagated. Their discussion moved on to their shared skepticism of cancel culture, with Maher underlining his disapproval of the erasure of crucial Western history contributions due to cultural sensitivities influencing the curriculum. He mourned the loss of balanced perspective, where correction bleeds into overcompensation. Continuing the cultural scrutiny but shifting gears, they reflected on beauty and body norms. Osbourne shared her personal struggle with weight management, including her recent successful experience with a weight loss injection that curbs hunger, while Maher bemusedly lamented the modern vogue for voluptuousness over his preferred twiggy figure. Their conversation also took a nostalgic turn when remembering a popular celebrity hangout spot, the Rainbow, and also acknowledged the colorful life of musician Rick James, who had an audacious encounter at a hospital. Diving into classic Hollywood, discussions about iconic figures such as Marilyn Monroe emerged. Maher expressed his incomprehension of the seemingly perpetual American obsession with her, while simultaneously applauding Ana de Armas for her performance as Monroe in a recently made film. In this segment of the Club Random podcast, hosts Bill Maher and Sharon Osbourne delve into a colorful rumination on past U.S. presidents and their sexual proclivities, the aging process, the ups and downs of long-term relationships, and religion. The dialogue opens with Maher speculating about the libidinous propensities of U.S. presidents, such as Bill Clinton and John F. Kennedy. The tone turns salacious when Osbourne forwards a risque hypothesis positing that Nancy Reagan, Ronald Reagan's wife, was unfaithful during their tenure in the White House. According to Osbourne, it's the fame that allegedly attracted Frank Sinatra to Nancy Reagan. Quoting her, "They're not blank the woman, they're blank the fame." The hosts pivot to a candid exploration of getting older, with both admitting to their relative comfort with and acceptance of the aging process. Maher acknowledges, "The only bad thing about it is that I know there's a clock running on it." Osbourne contributes by highlighting that wisdom accrues with age, which she finds enriching. Discussing Osbourne's marriage, Maher presents it as both the best and the worst. Osbourne agrees, noting her life experiences as a rock and roll couple have been higher than high and lower than low. This segues into Maher's explanation of his prolonged bachelorhood, recounting a past relationship that lasted 5 years, the longest he's ever had. Next, Maher and Osbourne shift to discussing religious affiliations and beliefs. In this context, Maher speaks about his upbringing as a Catholic and his eventual conversion to atheism. He recounts filming his documentary, Religulous, and in a poignant conversation with his mother discovered that they quit going to church because of a conservative pope's views on birth control. Osbourne reveals her Jewish background, to which Maher responds by expressing his preference for Judaism over Catholicism. Interspersed between the discussions is Maher's light-hearted advertisement for Caldera Lab, a skincare company offering products designed to mitigate the signs of aging, and Factor, a meal kit company. They then analyze religious perspectives, particularly focusing on Judaism. Maher remarks on the notable achievements of Jewish people despite their relatively small global population, to which Osbourne supports with her dismay towards the often misguided blame placed on Jews. Do your research, she implores listeners, emphasizing the importance of verifying facts before holding strong opinions. Moreover, they discuss social issues such as racism and white supremacy. Maher brings attention to the persistence of hate crimes, calling for increased awareness and acknowledgement of different minority groups' hardships, including the systemic persecution that Jews have withstood throughout history. Both Maher and Osbourne agree that no one minority group's hardship is more significant than another's. They insist on the necessity of solidarity and empathy among people who are unfairly treated, oppressed, or marginalized. The hosts move on to a broader discussion about the changing demographics in different parts of the world. They talk about ways multiculturalism has transformed notable cities like London. Maher highlights how the city has evolved from being predominantly white to a place of mixed races. Respecting this change, both hosts stress the importance of living in the present rather than clinging to nostalgia for the past. They also have a frank conversation about America's ability to change despite its history of deep-rooted racism. Both hosts assert that while racial prejudice remains an issue, societal attitudes are undeniably progressing, pointing to the increasing preference for mixed neighborhoods. Osbourne shares her childhood experiences growing up in a multicultural area of London, which she describes as brilliant. Interestingly, they move on to tackle the topic of transgender individuals and the notion of men getting pregnant. They assert that these new ideas do not necessarily mean they are superior or progressive. They feel some new concepts might merely be absurd and misguided attempts at innovation. During a debate, both Maher and Osbourne delve into their perspectives on the broadcasting industry. Sharon, well known for her time on The Talk, talks candidly about the authenticity and lack of filters in podcast format, something that she feels is lacking in traditional television broadcasting. She prefers this stage of her career, stating, "I never ever felt comfortable sat at a __ desk or a table." Maher then points to the controversy Osbourne faced after exiting from The Talk. Despite tabloid talk about Osbourne seeking revenge post the fallout, she refutes these assumptions, stating, "I know about me, I know what I am." Osbourne further puts to bed the idea that she would want a top spot in another show, finding her current situation fulfilling. Then they switch to discussing recent movies and TV, praising The Weeknd for his acting skills. Maher, however, vents his frustration at movie critics, stating, "Watch it, shut the __ up." Throughout the conversation, Maher and Osbourne also remark on socio-political issues, not the least of which is wealth inequality and how ordinary people manage to survive against the backdrop of systemic financial disparities. They critique the current taxation system in America, expressing their bafflement and discontent towards the loopholes and perceived injustices. The discussion also gravitates towards international issues, specifically on the subject of Afghanistan. They express concern for the women left behind and highlight the hypocrisy of liberals siding with societies practicing gender apartheid. They discuss the botched withdrawal of American troops from Afghanistan, criticizing the haste and lack of proper planning. The podcast finds Maher and Osbourne lamenting the fact that America seems not to learn from past strategic mistakes. They emphasize the importance of wisdom and experience in making impactful decisions and rue how these traits are often undervalued in American society. Osbourne shared the encouragingly open environment of debates and discussion she cultivated in her family. She asserted that it's essential to hold on to one's opinion without following the masses, so long as it isn't attached to hate. Through her upbringing by parents who were the war veterans, she learned about the grim realities of life, which led her to hold sound perspectives on world issues. They delved into their preferences on residential preferences. Osbourne revealed her current home in Buckinghamshire, located outside of London, claiming to prefer the countryside's serenity over city life. Maher humorously commented on the allure of owning historic estates, while Osbourne disclosed her discomfort with the thought of living in such grand antiquity. The conversation took an amusing detour when Maher discussed the less dramatic progress of reducing public defecation problems worldwide. This led to a further discussion about homelessness. They agreed that homelessness is a significant issue that needs addressing and challenged both right and left-wing policy approaches. Osbourne spoke highly of the London strategy to homelessness, criticizing the woke movement for permitting street encampments. Immigration became their next focal point, with Maher using the topic to further challenge political hypocrisy. Osbourne defends the majority of immigrants as hardworking individuals seeking better lives. Maher bemoaned the U.S. government's inability to construct effective and compassionate border policies, contending that political incompetence worried him more than ideological differences. The conversation steered towards the music industry, with Osbourne revealing her plans for setting up a museum and music school in honor of Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath. Maher voiced his skepticism about this plan, arguing that many young people already aspire to be musicians. They finished the discussion debating the tones and trends in contemporary music, where Maher pointed out a trend towards sad music, a comment Osbourne seemed to agree with. Osbourne recalls a childhood memory of a famous figure, recounting the emotional strain she experienced as a young performer who spent Christmas alone in a rented New York apartment while her siblings celebrated back at home. This individual's story, as narrated by Osbourne, underscores the harsh realities of being thrust into a career in the entertainment industry at a young age. Maher and Osbourne broach the subject of how past experiences affect the present, suggesting that the strength to overcome difficult past conditions can vary among individuals. They describe a young performer manipulated by a pushy manager and family who struggled to handle the pressures of fame and public life. The hidden implications behind their conversations suggest that the ruthlessness of the entertainment industry can sometimes more destructively affect individuals who aren't strong enough to withstand its demands. Their discussion then moves on to Taylor Swift, drawing comparisons between her and Madonna. Swift's professionalism, focus, and self-awareness are praised highly by Maher and Osbourne. They appreciate her strategic decision to re-record her old songs, as it evidently showcases her business acumen, despite Maher admitting that he doesn't fully understand the appeal of her music. Osbourne and Maher also talk about their perspectives on other music artists from different eras. They discuss the musical shifts that have happened over the years, from big band music to present-day rock and roll. They analyze these transitions and the durability of certain genres, expressing their shared preference for classic rock music. A mention of Paul McCartney prompts a passionate discussion about his vast and successful body of work. They admire his humility, his dedication to music, and his successful marriage, with Osbourne referring to his wife as possessing a real girlfriend vibe. Finally, they navigate to the topic of Ozzy Osbourne, who, despite his past challenges, wishes to perform one last farewell show. They speak of him with respect, describing him as musically iconic and emphasizing that he feels an urgent need to close his career in a manner he deems fitting. This portion of the podcast portrays numerous topics, showcasing the realities experienced by performers in the entertainment industry, the changes in music over time, and the varying impacts and implications of fame. It culminates in an intimate yet lighthearted interaction, rounding off the earnest, engaging conversation with humor, ensuring their audience stays interested and entertained. Check out the full podcast by clicking the link in the description below. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for listening to this podcast summary episode of The Pod Slice.